fights, no large fights. Like these ladies?
It's not our favorite day of the year, but it is our job.
How to plan, put on, and keep control of the year's biggest, craziest, and messiest party. The people behind St. Louis's Mardi Gras. Next on Living St. Louis.
Funding for KETC local productions is provided in part through the generous support of the Arthur and Helen Baer Charitable Foundation. And this Emmy Award-winning program wouldn't be possible without your support. Thank you to the members of Channel 9. You make it possible.
The start of the new year for a lot of people means taking time to recover from all those holiday parties. But for others in St. Louis, it's time to get serious about planning the next big party. A couple of years ago, Jim Kircher hung out with the people who plan, patrol, and provide for the big Mardi Gras celebration in Soulard to discover the method to the madness.
Jeffrey, how you doing? I'm Tim Lorson, and I'm the Prime Minister of Mardi Gras. Well, there's three of us full-time, myself and Marco and Lindsay. Mark basically handles sponsorship and some operations.
I hope you guys had fun, man.
Hi, Joe. It's Lindsay from Mardi Gras. How are you?
And Lindsay handles all of the brass tacks. She's the operations person. She's the person that makes sure we have the right permits, that we've got enough water, that we've got enough tables, all of those kind of things.
Right here and make it go across like this.
Mac Bradley is the foreign minister, which means he is the guy that is our media guru and a longtime Mardi Gras volunteer. He coordinates all the public relations and communications efforts, but he's actually more than that. He's also somebody that's very integral into the strategic planning and the operation with us. In fact, he was one of the people that helped form Mardi Gras back in '99. Hey, Lindsay. We always like to say that our job is to equally balance the fact that we're trying to create economic activity in the city of St. Louis in the first quarter of the year. We want to put heads in beds. We want to see a big day for the bar owners and the restaurants, not just in Soulard, but all over the city and the county, in the region. But we have to balance that against the very valid residential and public safety concerns that people have. That's our job. You know, a lot of what the 1.1 million that it takes to put this thing on is absorbed by putting things like porta potties and security and barricades and all the cleanup details and dumpsters and all the things that we have to put in place to make this thing safe, but also to minimize the inconvenience and the impact on the residents as much as we can.
It's always been an issue. You know, they'll find they have plenty of bushes and trees and that people don't want to wait. They're impatient. That's the big problem with the Soulard residents. The standard portable toilets, there's a lot of difference between portable restrooms. And the toilet is actually designed for about 175 people for every 2 hours. The Mardi Gras is the largest single-day event where we put portable restrooms on. We put some 850 to 900 portable restrooms, several urinal stations, and several handicaps and sinks.
Jim and his guys do a great job. They're kind of the unsung heroes to this whole thing.
I mean, somebody has to do it, maybe, but it's not a prestigious job by any means. I mean, it is a lot of work, and it's scheduling. On the toilets. This week is really a very hectic week. Matt, have you been here at Mardi Gras? Good luck. And Tony, I know that this is your first Mardi Gras. It's going to be a fast track. get that forklift as far out of your mind, you're not using it. You know, you guys, I guarantee you, we're going to be behind on something. So just don't plan on going home.
What you'll see happen with my guys, they'll work Saturday night, all night, and get out of there and then come back Sunday after daylight where we can see what's going on.
Charlie is he sets 3 different crews, and what they do is they pick up all the trash cans and all the trash out of the streets and the alleys.
Oh, I've been doing this for a long time. I did this, my father ran the cleanup for Mardi Gras in New Orleans, so that's been over 30 years, and so I moved here, and now I'm doing it here. Well, what we do is, what we mainly try to do is get everything to the street, off the sidewalks, off the curb, and then the street sweeper runs both sides of the street, down the middle. And then we have various dumpsters. We have about 30 dumpsters throughout the whole area down here. And as he gets full with the sweeper, he just dumps in one of the dumpsters and keep going. And our job is to stay out in front of him. It's getting there. I mean, over the last 5 years, it's getting a lot bigger than what it used to be here. Obviously, it's not as big as New Orleans, but when the weather's good here, it's just as good as New Orleans when the weather's good here.
Well, there are people who aren't so in love with it. Yeah, that would be accurate, and sometimes they just don't like it. And there isn't anything you can do that's going to make them like it, so we have to distill what they're saying down to, hey, this is a legitimate concern. This is something we actually can do something about, and it's reasonable.
Well, we separate the festival zone into red zone and yellow zone. In the red zone, we clear the streets and actually have to have any of the cars in the streets towed. The red zone contains most of the bars and restaurants in the neighborhood and is the most compact area. We have officials out in the neighborhood all day long just making the area safe. That is our biggest concern on that day, is to make the area safe.
We look at things every year and try to critique it. We have meetings way before this ever starts, and we have meetings afterwards to make sure whatever went wrong this year we'll correct for next year.
Hi, how are you? Lindsay? This is Jerry Layshak. He's in the 3rd.
Oh, I think I've met you before.
Good, and you, John?
This is Gwen Spicer. She's
Nice to meet you.
The safety meetings pretty much consist of the health department, the animal control, police department, fire department, operational planning, all the excise division, and state liquor control, ATC. It's all those people who come together, and we kind of just have all our issues. Metro is also involved, have all of our issues out in the open so everyone's on the same page and knows what's going on.
7th and Lafayette instead of 8th and Lafayette.
I'm Police Officer Brent Feig. I'm in our operational planning section, which writes all the security plans for the police department for Mardi Gras.
Okay.
We'll have a number of shifts. Our main 2 shifts would be from 9 to 5 and then from 4 to midnight. We'll have over 450 policemen. There'll be some undercover policemen. Most of them will be uniformed policemen. And then we'll have also some policemen in the neighborhood surrounding Soulard.
Anything else? Any other questions? You know, we have an interesting relationship with the police. I've said this for years. You know, we'd love to have a festival that draws 1 million people and dumps tons of money into the St. Louis economy and, of course, have it all go off safely. You know, they're in the risk management business. And while I'm somewhat risk averse, they're very risk averse. So they'd like to have a 2-block parade with 1 car and it's done in 2 minutes because that means there's less to worry about. I get that. That's valid. But somewhere what we have to do is meet in the middle, and we've always successfully done that. That doesn't mean that we don't have our disagreements about issues at times, but we, just like anything else, we got to work through that. And we do.
We'll check on our stage up here at the park, make sure the stage is where it's supposed to be. Swing back down, maybe use a little marking paint on the streets, mark off where 1 more bar is.
we have a series of small bars around the festival where we stock the organizations with everything they need. The tents, the tables, the chairs. We pull all the liquor licenses, obviously the beer, the soda, the hurricanes, those cups. We put all the pieces they need in place, then they come out and man the booth as our staff that day. And then we, of course, have a profit sharing. So what that does for us, it gives us the opportunity to pay for dumpsters and checkpoints and porta potties and bike rack barricades. And what that does for those guys, it gives them the opportunity to raise money for their organization.
These kids are very adept at text messaging and using today's technology. They're going to know very quickly whether it's the woman at the right end of the booth who's wearing the blue shirt. She is just militant about carding versus the guy at the other end of the booth in the orange shirt. He's not bothering to card anybody. They're going to tell that to each other. Numerous times during that event, when we stop them, we tell them, have your ID out and have your ID ready because you're going to get hit by a number of police officers during the course of the day. And if you look young, you're going to get carded a number of times. If you are selling to somebody who is obviously intoxicated, or B, if you are selling to somebody who is under the age of 21. Those are the two quickest ways to get yourself in trouble with us. And I hope I don't have to write anybody in here a summons. Please don't make me do that. Less paperwork I have, the better off I am.
Go ahead. If you come in the office about 45 minutes, an hour or so, I mean, I'll be there until tonight, until probably midnight or 1 a.m. All right, see ya. It never ends. Well, right now we got to go walk across the footbridge where the Metro Link stop, where the Metro buses dump off. Rearrange the porta potties because I got a business owner up there who doesn't like them on their property, but they love the foot traffic, so we're going to rearrange the porta potties a little bit for the church. What's up, Charlie? Mark.
This is what I did.
I'm with you. You know, the cab company just wants to make sure that as these knuckleheads are getting off, that are coming off the bridge, to find, because
this is the best visibility. Right here.
Yeah,
I'll do whatever you want.
And his cabs will be lined up. Just take and swing the last 4 porta potties. Just swing them around. Leave that one out, and I can hook that one up.
I may have people down here at 4 in the morning.
At 4 a.m.?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll be around here. Somebody will be here.
Well, I'm sure I'll see you guys shortly.
Okay.
All right, gang.
Undercover officers are going to focus mainly on underage drinking, fake IDs, things of that sort.
So what's the word you have for, what's the message you have for people who come down?
If you're under 21, please don't come down and drink.
Good morning. I got
It's actually not cold.
No, it's not.
You know, once it gets done snow, we'll be in great shape.
The sun comes up.
Yeah.
Let's have 3 guys down there with small trailers. It's 6, and
you know, and let's just get out of here by 7. We should be everything completely done, and we'll let the people party.
We stay out of the way. We do not come down here. We do not move into this area until about 10 o'clock Saturday night.
What do I worry about the most? My worry the day of is that my checkpoints are set up correctly, that we get the checkpoints set up correctly in time. We want to make sure that the red zone is a safe area, that people aren't bringing in things that they shouldn't be bringing in.
The checkpoints really proved to be beneficial, keeping out the cans, coolers, bottles, and backpacks. You know, we're always worried about any large-scale incident, but I think we've planned for them and have some contingency plans in place so we can address anything that would arise.
Where's Kenny Moore?
Anyone have any questions or anything? All right, let's have a good one. Claire, I got a feeling you're gonna be at DB's at 2 in the morning.
Also, a lot of hurricanes. Grenadine, OJ, 2 Jameson for sure. Probably another Bailey's. Yeah, just go with the flow, and you know, been doing it 4 years and kind of get used to it. And it's the first year I was outside. The past 2 I've been inside, and I chose to be outside this year on this freezing cold day. I have a ton of layers. It took me about 15 minutes to put my clothes on this morning. I have 4 layers on my bottoms and 4 layers on tops, pair of gloves, hat. Well prepared. I've done it before, so I know.
And we know we come here knowing that it's going to be, we're going to be here for a long day.
We're ready.
So
I'm
you
excited.
just do it, you get it done. And
12 to 14 hours.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's great.
Well, actually, we've just had our roll call detail, and we've got our agents out on the street. Basically, we'll be having 2 different enforcement efforts going on today. We have a group that's just going to be walking around in an undercover capacity, checking individuals on the street who may appear to be intoxicated or under the age. And if we encounter a situation, we'll issue appropriate summonses to those individuals to appear in court at a later date. Our other group is going to be out doing compliance checks of the outside stands, and they'll actually be sending an undercover minor up to those stands to see whether or not they're checking that identification of that minor. It's not our favorite day of the year, but it is our job, and we'll be out here doing what we're required to do. Certainly, since we have to be here regardless, we always enjoy when it's a nicer day as opposed to a cold and miserable day, but we'll deal with it. IDs, ladies?
Please remember, keep your hands and feet inside the fence. Your hands and feet inside the fence.
It's just getting started. It's early in the day. We were out on the street probably less than 20 minutes when we had our first ticket. And as you saw, it was probably about 1 out of every 4 we stopped. There, we probably checked 4 groups before we had 1 ticket. And that's probably going to be the average that we'll see today. And then right after the parade, as they filter back into the neighborhood, it'll pick up even more, and we'll have more encounters with kids.
checkpoints are in order, and we closed Lafayette very successfully with a lot of help from the interns, the police, and our security. We're going to take some cups to the Bud Light party tent. Now we just pretty much help everybody out the rest of the day and make sure our checkpoints continue to be set up right until they need to be taken down. So everything's going really well.
We've really taken into account the city ordinance on lewd and indecent conduct. And it pretty much spells out that you have to have some kind of sexual gratification, or there has to be an alarm or a front by the crowd that somebody would be exposing their breasts to.
We know what to expect here. Our officers know to be a little more tolerant than they normally are on this day, and we haven't had any incidents. It's all about trying to be professional, and everybody's been behaved.
I think most people in St. Louis have always done a great job, and there's somebody that's ruining a good time for everybody else, and you show up on the scene. Instead of joining in, you just ask, all right, who's the guy causing the problem? There's 20 people that point right at him, or the two of them, and you go in and you get them, and most people are cheering because you got rid of them, because they don't want the good time to be ruined.
The crowd looks big to me. So far, at least, the crowd seems like everybody's in a pretty good mood and pretty well behaved.
When it gets dark, cold tends to dissipate the crowd, and it's right at the good moment when it happens, because usually, as Max said, they've had their fun, and it's time to move on.
And when the sun goes down tonight, it's really going to be cold, and you got a little bit of a wind going. I think that's going to nudge a lot of people and make them say, yeah, well, we've had a good time. I think it's time to go home, maybe.
Yeah,
right.
Someplace other than here.
At 5:30, 6 o'clock, the sun's going down, and without the sun shining on their backs, they're pretty much done.
Connecting to the metro lane. Civic Center, connecting to the metro lane. Watch your steps, step up, thank you.
So far today we've had 105 arrests. Most of those are minor in possession. We had a couple of arrests for providing alcohol to a minor. The crowd's been fairly calm. Of course they get rowdy and that, but they're all having a good time. No major incidents, a few minor fights, no large fights, and no serious injuries at this point.
What's the trickiest time of night for you guys?
Probably now when everybody starts closing down, we're trying to get the crowd to go home.
Closing the streets at 8 o'clock and closing the bars and restaurants in the neighborhood early. Those two things, I think, have done more to address the immediate concerns of the neighborhood and the people who live in the neighborhood than anything else.
It's over. It's over. I'm excited for my next day off.
We have our own standards for how it should be and how it should be done. And part of that is that we feel like we have to clean up after ourselves. We can't come into this neighborhood and make a mess and not clean up after yourself. It's a Midwestern thing, probably. It's sort of the way people are raised.
We got approximately 50 people out there right now. We got 50 people. And they're spread out throughout Soulard. They all got rakes, brooms, blowers. Doing pretty good tonight. We're having a good night except for the wind. Wind's a little high, but overall we're doing pretty good.
And then, and when Mardi Gras is over, they don't want portable restrooms sitting around for a week or 2 weeks. The tall truck, pump truck started at 2:30, and then my pickup and delivery truck started at 5:30. And right now we got roughly 200 talls in, and we're 650 more to go. They're full to the brim. They had a pretty good crowd. These 4 trucks have 2,000 gallons, and then one has 2,200. And we will dump roughly 8 to 10 times each truck. So to put the math to it, that's all people.
I think it went very well, on basically all fronts. It was wildly successful. I really believe that. It was one of the best, if not the best, of the 6 years that I've done it. Cleanup was stellar. The neighborhood looked terrific.
Funding for Living St. Louis is made possible through the Mary Rankin Jordan and Eddie A. Jordan Charitable Foundation and through the generous support of the members of the 9 Network of Public Media.